And we are live. Welcome to Walk Off Wagers right here on Pub Sports Radio. I'm your guy, Wine Time Sports. With me, as always, is my guy, Spoons. We're going to break down this entire card here, guys. Got a nice slate tomorrow for MLB, as we do every single Sunday. So we're going to attack these lines early. Spoons, my guy, how's your week going? Excited to cap this card with you, my guy, but how's your week going?
Pretty solid week till 2 days ago. I was going 1-1 into the night game. I loaded up on the Royals versus the White Sox live. That went to really bad real quick, and then lost a 1-1 under in extra innings right after that, and everything just seemed to fall apart there. But got back on track today, up a unit, just got the Guardian, so that's feels nice. Ready to attack tomorrow's card. Baseball is going to be a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season, 162 games for a reason. If you bet it every single day, you're crazy, just like Spoons and I. But shout out to you, Spoons. Thank you for being here as always, my guy. Shout out to Jose for setting us up as well with the graphics and all that good stuff. Shout out to my guy in the chat, Dabby Cab, in there, the first one. Logan V's, Swig Bets, my guy. Skylar V's, PWC writer, said Spoon Slam. Let's go. Excited to break down this card, guys. Last week it was a little bit different. I think we talked about, 5 or 6 games that we moved on, and then we also touched on some games at the end because we had a lot of time. We decided we're going to do the entire card going forward. So let's get started right here. We are going to get started here. Arizona against the Philadelphia Phillies here. This is going to be an interesting matchup here. I just want to pull this up, guys. Here we got Zach Gallen here on the mound against Painter. This is going to be a good game here. I like this line. I think it's kind of priced appropriately. Zach Gallen, I feel like this season he's going to have a good season. You know, it's a contract year. He's getting up there a little bit in age. I think he's going to have his moments where he looks really good. And then some moments where he's probably vulnerable. This spot, it's too tricky here, Spoons. You know me, I've been moving on the Diamondbacks in damn near 85-90% of the game so far to start the season. But I was on them today. In today's game, they got 2 runs there early. Then ended up, I think, losing the game 4-2, something like that to the Phillies. I'm not going to be back here on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Doesn't really seem like a good spot for me. I'm going to back them more so, I think, at home than the road here early on in the season. I like this Diamondbacks team, but I think this is probably going to be a Phillies spot here. Right now, it's looking like pretty much the line has moved towards Phillies when this opened up, depending on what lines you're looking at here. But it's pretty much a 143, 145 across the board right here for the Phillies. Spoons, I am not involved in this game here. Do you have anything in this game, my guy?
Yeah, I do. I went back and forth on this. I ended up moving on the Philadelphia Phillies. Minus 140 still available at some rec books. That's the number I moved on. I look at Andrew Painter. He's a young pitcher that I really like. Got drafted high out of high school, had some arm issues that kept him in the minors an extra year and a half or so, but that gave him time to mature. And just coming out the gate, I see a lot of things I like from this kid. And the Arizona lineup's been subpar versus right-handed pitching so far, just 75 WRC plus on the season. And Zach Gallen, no slouch of a pitcher himself, but I mean, I think he's on the downside of his career. And I look at this Philadelphia lineup, they're 107 WRC plus so far versus right-handers. And I think they can get to Gallen. We get into the bullpen, and Philadelphia had to use quite a bit of arms today to get through it. But if you kind of look how they were set up, nobody's really unavailable. You're going to have Alvarado and Duran still available. And Arizona's bullpen is just such a question mark. Like, even if they have all their arms, and they do have everybody available as well, like, it never makes me comfortable with them. So I moved out in Philadelphia. I kind of make this fair price closer to 150 or so, but I just couldn't get past it. I went back and forth through this card, and this is one of the spots where I really felt the most confidence when I went through like the full length of the game between the pitchers, the bullpen, and the lineups. This is going to be minus 6% runs at Citizens Bank Park tomorrow. Temperatures in the high 50s, like 58 through 60, and then wind blowing 10 miles an hour out. So a little bit offensive. With these bullpens, I guess maybe a small lean to the over, but nothing for me on the total.
Okay, but we have action here. First game on the board here. That's going to go off tomorrow at 10:35 a.m. PST, my time, of course, 1:35 Eastern Standard Time. Our guy is going to be on the Philadelphia Phillies here. Let's move right on here to the San Francisco Giants and the Baltimore Orioles here. A name that's a little near and dear to my heart at times, but has also cost me quite a bit of cash here, Spoons, goes by the name of Adrian Hauser. Seems like he's been in the league for forever. This guy's still out there, still making a living. You got Povich on the mound for Baltimore on the other side. These are two pretty evenly matched teams. I think this line is pretty much priced appropriately as well here in this spot. Minus 133. I'm seeing a minus 120 at some spots, but pretty much between that 120 and minus 130 range right here. I haven't moved on this game, Spoons. We've got a total here that's sitting around an 8.5 here. Let's see what it is juiced to the under here at minus 120. So we might see some 8s here that pop up before we know it. But nothing for me in this game, Spoons. In the games I don't have anything in. Going to just break it down really quick and hand it off to you. So San Francisco Giants, Baltimore Orioles, do you have anything in this game?
Just looking at it, I kind of wanted to get to Baltimore, but I would need this at like a straight pick 'em to really want to move on it. Fair price make this Baltimore minus 120. Cade Povich, I think is a little bit better of a pitcher than Adrian Hauser, but San Francisco's bats are just better versus lefties than they are righties. They're 121 WRC plus right now versus lefties, which is one of the best in the league. So I think they match up pretty well versus Povich. On the opposite side, like Hauser, I could see Baltimore getting runs off him, and I kind of like the over. This total's coming down. Oriole Park minus 8% runs tomorrow, and temperatures in the 50s. When blowing out, like I could see runs getting on the board pretty well. It says Oriole Park, Camden Yards, minus 31% home runs overall. So a lot of that's got to be just the temperature. This is a tough one. I don't have any faith in this Giants bullpen right now. The lineup doesn't give me a lot of faith, even though I see that big number versus lefties. I lean Baltimore, kind of lean runs. I don't trust Baltimore's bullpen either. Like we get back there, and that's the biggest question mark I have with this team.
Yeah, I'm going to stay off this game. These are two teams that I haven't really – I backed the Giants at the beginning of the season. I've kind of just been staying off them. These are teams that probably get involved with in the middle of the season. Nothing for me in this game. So we can move right on here to a game.
Godfather.
Shout out to the Godfather in the chat, our guy. We got to kick it with him in San Antonio here last month. Shout out to you, Godfather. Appreciate you for showing out. We got AH7977. Love the under 8.5. Both pitchers slow the game down. Shout out to you. Thank you for being here. Hino Ball, Jose Bouquet, Victor, Kyle Kerms, my guy. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Hit the like button, guys. Share the video. We can move on here to this next game here. This is going to be, let me pull this up here. Taj Bradley, one of my guys right here. The Minnesota Twins against Maximus Scherzer. Kind of going back to last season, Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander are the two older guys, two pitchers that I've been fading for the last, year or so, and I'm going to continue to do so. Verlander, we can't for now because he's on the IL, but I'll continue to fade Max Scherzer. I'm going to do it here. I'm backing Taj Bradley. First bet of the game of the day for me, guys, that I made. Twins money line plus 100 right now. Sitting around the same number right now pretty much everywhere. This line's you can see pretty much -1. It's up to -116 at some books here for the Toronto Blue Jays. I think this line is pretty much priced for people that are going to come in and they're going to probably hammer the Blue Jays. People still like the Blue Jays. I'm down on the Blue Jays this year after last season. I was high on them last year. Not so high on them this year. I'm not high on the Twin Spoons, but, I've been backing them in a lot of these games this year, and they've been paying me out. I'm not going to move on them probably in a month from now, but for now, I'm still going to move on them. This is my first play on the board here, Spoons. I'm going to be on the Minnesota Twins and back Taj Bradley. It's more so a fade of Max Scherzer. I think these young bats with the Twins could at least get a couple off him early, and I think Taj Bradley is going to go out there and pitch extremely well. So give me the Minnesota Twins here, plus 100, Spoons. Anything in this for you, my guy?
I lean the way that you are on this one. Like, I see Toronto, and this is a team that's definitely dropping in market value very quickly. And we add to that, they have another injury, Springer. I want to say broken toe or something today, diagnosed with. So he's going to be out of the lineup.
I didn't even know that. Damn, that's big. That's big time news.
He's going to be out of the lineup. I agree with the sentiment on Taj Bradley. I feel like this guy is found a new home, and he's pitching much better. I have him graded out slightly better than where I do Scherzer right now. And name value wise, I wouldn't really think that, but I mean, Scherzer's kind of on the back end of the career. I expect him to be pitching better more towards the playoffs than right now. And I mean, all that included, like, I lean Minnesota, but I mean, AM touched on the bullpens, like the back end of this Minnesota, like Banda, Rogers has been worked pretty recently. Like a lot of arms that I just don't trust are going to have to touch the ball tomorrow. So I'm going to be off this. I would definitely like the plus money here. I model this as Minnesota short favorites minus 108. So I agree with your side, and maybe just a slight lean to the over with the bullpen situations. But I wouldn't be shocked to see a pitching duel between Scherzer and Bradley break out and this be a 1-1 or 1-0 game after 6.
Yeah, I definitely think Scherzer's going to give up a long ball to someone. It's just going to depend if a couple people are going to be on base in that spot. But shout out to our guy, Dutch Boy Fresh in the building, said, fellas. Shout out to you, my guy. Thanks for joining us. Coin, AM, Kyle Kerms, the Godfather, everyone in there. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys for being here. We can move on to the next game. And I believe me and Spoons will both be involved here in this game. I haven't moved on it quite yet, but I want to. I was kind of talking about it with Spoons here before the show. And I want to be on the Angels here, but let's break this game down here, guys. Jose Soriano on the mound, looking like the odds-on favorite to win the Cy Young here at this point. He's pitching really well. When he got the nod to be the number one pitcher or to go on opening day over Kikuchi, didn't really make sense at the time, but now it does. This guy's been pitching lights out, and it just – whenever it seems like someone gets on base, it seems like they turn a ground ball double play right behind him. And when there's no one on base, it seems like he's striking everyone out, doing all the right things out there. I think Soriano is only going to get better as his career goes on. He's still fairly young. You got Abbott out there who's struggled so far to start the season, but I still like his stuff. And I think he's got good stuff, but I think Soriano here has the edge. I think the Angels, you can get slightly plus money on them here at some spots. I can't yet, and that's what I was telling Spoons. The best number available right now I can get is a minus 105 here on the Angels. I believe once all my books open up, I'm going to be able to probably get like a plus 100, plus 101 or something here on the Angels. So I'm going to wait a little bit, and if I wait and I have to pay minus 108 or minus 110, it is what it is. I'll still pay it, but I'm going to be on the Angels here. I just haven't moved on it quite yet. I think the bats are going to probably wake up here today. Question mark is going to be, is Soler going to be able to play here in this game? The suspension hasn't kicked in yet. They're still reviewing everything. But any day now, he's going to get suspended for 7 days. I don't think tomorrow's going to be the day, but I think the Angels take care of business. They've got their fresh arms still in the bullpen, ready to rock here, Spoons. I mean, the better pitchers. I mean, Romano's still there. Pomeranz is there. The back end of the bullpen is going to be ready here for the Angels. If Soriano can go out there and give us 6 or 7, the Angels can go out there and get 3 or 4 runs. I believe the Angels will win this game. Wow, Astros 3-2. Holy crap, I missed that. But I'm on the Angels. I'm going to be on the Angels here, Spoons. Let everyone know where you're on in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to be right there with you. I kind of looked around. There's minus 104 right now available on a pretty popular public book. I went ahead and took that, just looking at where some of the sharp books are at and the direction I think this movement will eventually take. I'm going to take the Angels now. I model them to be short favorites, minus 113. I look at this Reds bullpen right now, and they had to use 5 different arms today. It puts Phillips on back-to-back days, so he's going to be unavailable. You had Pagan and Santillan work back-to-back. Ashcraft, all 3 worked today. Neither of them worked yesterday. So all those arms, if they're going to be in a position to win this game, are going to have to come back out there. That gives the Angels just that familiarity, able to come back out there. And the Angels lost this game by 4 runs today. They didn't have to use any significant arms. Everybody's very fresh in the back end of their bullpen. They're getting ready to go play a really tough series in New York after this. And this just sets up as a very winnable game in my eyes. And I have a lot of faith in Soriano coming into this season. He's been really good at getting lefties out and elite at getting righties out so far this season. And I think that plays well in Cincinnati ballpark. This is one of the more offensive parks as the season goes on and weathers warm up, but it's not going to be that friendly tomorrow. Plus 1% runs on Great American Ballpark at Ballpark Pal, and temperatures were in the 70s today. They're going to be low 80s tomorrow, so maybe slightly more offensive, but I think this is going to be perfect weather for Soriano's ground ball approach. He gets a couple runners on, gets a ground ball, gets out of the inning. Last time he pitched here, he went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, kept the Angels in a good spot to win the game. So I think it's a good spot for him. Opposite side, I not in love with the pitcher, but seems like it sets up pretty well. I like the Angels bullpen situation the most. I think this closes well.
I like it. So me and Spoons align on this one, guys. We're both going to be on the Angels here. I'll tweet off the number as soon as I place the bet here. But we can move on here to our next game here. Let me pull up here for the graphics. Here we go. Athletics against the New York Mets here, guys. Freddie Peralta going against, let's pull this up here. Freddie Peralta against Aaron Savali, our guy Aaron Savali right there. Crazy that, he signed another contract. This guy's been serviceable since this. Spoons, is this the guy that was pitching over in the KBO a couple years ago?
No, this is the guy that I predicted was going to go to the
Okay,
KBO.
I remember that. Okay, but he's still, I don't know how much he signed that contract for. You could probably pull that
Sacramento,
up.
KBO, same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Shout out to them. But we've got the New York Mets here priced at around a minus 170 right now. The Athletics are on fire. Winners of the last 4, Mets losers of their last 4. Athletics, been pretty big dogs in these games, Spoons, and they've been taking care of business against a Mets team that paid a lot of money for this roster. And I'm telling you, if they don't sniff a World Series here in the next couple of years, man, it's crazy how much money is into this roster. They should take care of business. I mean, you got Freddie Peralta out there on the mound. He should pitch well here against an Athletics team that, they've been seeing the ball hit really well, but maybe the bats go cold here. I'm not going to move on it. I'm not going to fade this Athletics team. This is going to be a pass for me, Spoons. I'm going to hand it right off to you, my guy. I'm off this game. What do you think about this one?
I mean, I think the Mets win. Am I willing to pay 168 for it? Absolutely not. Like the way they're playing baseball right now, I think it's hard to make them over a minus 150 favorite. I mean, the Athletics are not a bad baseball team. I have a very low opinion of Aaron Savali, and if they had a better pitcher on the mound, I might even be tempted to just go after the Athletics until the Mets prove to me they can win a baseball game again. But I like how Peralta sets up versus this Athletics team. They're not destroying righties so far this season, and Peralta's a really above average pitcher at this point in his career. This is going to be the most pitcher-friendly ballpark in baseball tomorrow, as modeled by Ballpark Pal. Temperatures in the low 50s. Pretty windy out there. That can affect the ball quite a bit. I think this sets up to be a game that the Mets win. If I had any more faith in Savali than I do, I would be looking at a under here. I model this game at like 6.3. I think there's 7 still across the board. This is definitely a spot where I'd be on the under.
All right, just a lean to the under here for our guys, Spoons. We can move on here to our next game here. Miami Marlins against the Detroit Tigers. Yeah, there we go. It's pulled up. Man, this is going to be, if you guys want to watch a pitching duel, this is going to be it right here, guys. 2 of the better pitchers in all of baseball here. Let me pull this up. All right, Sandy Alcantara here. Looking like old Sandy as of 2 or 3 years ago. These last couple of years been some hiccups. Hasn't looked quite the same out there. He's looking really good here to start this season. Skubal, it seems like he's one of the better pitchers in the game at this point. Cy Young winner last year. This Detroit Tigers team is probably going to start getting rolling here eventually. You know me, Spoons. I'm not high on this Detroit Tigers team. I don't like this lineup. Not super high on this Marlins team either, but they got a lot of young bats in there. It just seems like they're always going to go out there and play gritty baseball. They're going to play competitive baseball night in and night out. You see their home games. There's not a lot of people there. I think this is priced appropriately. I'm not going to move on the Detroit Tigers at a minus 200, but I definitely think that they're live here to win this game. Seeing this total here, Spoons, at a 6.5. I believe this is going to be the lowest total here on the board, and it is. Yeah, 6.5, very deservingly so. This might end up being at 6 before first pitch tomorrow, Spoons. I would lean towards the under here, full game. I'm not going to personally move on this game, though, Spoons. Do you have anything in the Miami Marlins and Detroit Tigers?
I like the under. We got Skubal versus Alcantara. This is one of the better pitching matchups we've had in the young season. I think it's going to be decent baseball weather in Detroit tomorrow. Definitely Comerica Park, minus 8% runs overall is where it's modeled at. Temperatures in the high 60s, low 70s, wind blowing in. This just seems like a dead under to me. I struggle pressing that button when you see 6.5s out there. But that's the only spot I could be here. Sandy's shown the ability to pitch really well. The bullpen kind of let him down in that last outing. But Skubal on the other side, has shown that he is the best left-hander in baseball over the last couple seasons. I think he can shut down this Miami lineup, who has struggled with lefties already this season. They're hitting 76 WRC plus so far, towards the bottom of the league. Detroit's a little above average versus righties, so maybe they do have an advantage. I also lean to Miami on just like the price. Like, I don't think the Tigers should be minus 200 versus Sandy on the other side. Like, just what that implies is they're going to win the game, like 67 to 70% of the time. Like, Skubal comes down on the ankle a little funny, just one pitch, and they're going to pull him out really quick. They're going to have a short leash on this guy because he's part of their franchise's value right now. This early in the season, this doesn't mean all that much to him. So I think that line's a little bit ridiculous, but I don't have the confidence to move on Miami. I like that under. I could be convinced. I'm just trying to. The Tigers lineup, I know it's a lineup you don't have a ton of faith in. The Marlins, I don't expect to score off Skubal. So then it gets into the bullpen. I'm pretty high on Miami's bullpen. I know they've blown some saves and stuff already this season, but I feel like they have the arms back there. They're not in a bad situation. What are your thoughts on that under a 6.5 too low?
I don't know if it's too low or not. I think it's probably priced right. I mean, if this ends up getting to a 6, I wouldn't be surprised. If this was at a 7, I would think it's way too high. Yeah, like 7's too high. I think it's priced appropriately at 6.5. I won't move on it here, those Spoons. Like you said, though, it's just if one of these guys does get hurt and they go out early, I don't know if I trust the bullpen here. So nothing for me in this game here. We can move on here to our next game. We've got the New York Yankees against the Tampa Bay Rays. Man, the Rays are just taking care of business per usual against the Yankees, man. I was on the Yankees here today, minus 1.5. End up losing the lead, end up getting it back up by 1. Rays tie it up. Rays win it in extras. Rays just, you know how I feel about this team, Spoons, and I think they're going to probably win this division. They're at least going to get a wild card spot to the playoffs when it's all said and done. I believe in this team. I believe in this coach. I believe in the pitching roster. I like the bats they have in this order. I like Rasmussen here on the mound here. I believe Rasmussen coming off having a baby, I believe so. I think that's why he missed his last start. So should go out there, and I think he's going to probably pitch pretty well here. I know the Rays are going for the sweep here, but I like the Tampa Bay Rays here, Spoons. I can't get that plus 130 anywhere. I'm looking right now to find the best line. Oh, I can. What am I talking about? I get a plus 130 here with the Tampa Bay Rays. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays here, Spoons. I'm going to make it official here. I'm going to back Drew Rasmussen against the Yankees here. The Rays, they know that Kevin Cash knows that he needs to win these games against the division rivalries like the Yankees, and I think they're going to take care of business here. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays money line plus 130, Spoons. Shout out to my guy Dabby Cap in the chat. Thanks for being here, my guy. Kyle Kerm said Rays bullpen is mega. Yeah, so I hear that. Spoons, take it away, my guy. New York Yankees, Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, this is a game where I'm going to be on the opposite side of you. I moved on the Yankees. I moved on minus 143. A minus 140 immediately popped. I couldn't cash out my bet, so I was just stuck with it. I'm happy with the 143 that I paid. Kyle's kind of touching on it in the chat there. Jackson, Seymour, both going to be out. Not positive on Baker, but definitely some of the most important arms on the back end of this Rays bullpen are going to be unavailable. Yankees obviously have had to use some arms in the last couple of days as well, but they're set up to handle just the amount of pitches a lot better. We also go into this, the starting pitching matchup, like really good pitchers. Drew Rasmussen, big fan of his. Yankees versus right-hand pitching, very strong. Like, this team is towards the top of the league. I think they're going to be able to get some runs off him. The Rays so far versus righties have been good too, but I mean, Cam Schlittler, this is the pitcher on the board that grades out the highest for me tomorrow. I've been very high on him since he came up last season. I think he continues to be mispriced. I think he should be priced in the range of like some of the aces on the board. I would have this fair price Yankees minus 160 with the current bullpen situation. So to be able to pay minus 143, I'm just fine with.
I hear that. Just the Rays gritty baseball that I like here. But Kyle Kerms touched on it, said Baker back-to-back nights through 20 pitches. He's out. 4 of their top 5 arms are out. Shout out to our guy Jimmy the Bag in the chat, said, what up, fellas? I appreciate you for being here. My guy, we got Spoons and I on opposite sides in this one, but we're also on the same side in another game. So we can move on here to that next game here. Let me pull that up here. Apologize. I know it's going to be the White Sox and the Kansas City Royals. Am I reading this correctly here? Is our guy James Cannon going to go out there and pitch tomorrow? Love to see that. He's going to be out there going on the mound here. Let me see. Let me pull this up here really quick. Against Noah Cameron for the Kansas City Royals. Yeah, the White Sox.
I have Taylor listed.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you actually are right. I'm seeing that here as well. So Taylor's actually going to be out there pitching. Sorry, I had Cannon on a different website. Let me just
That was one of the last ones to be confirmed. I'm just double checking that now. I see it on 2 places, so I believe it is Taylor. I
see RotoWire still has James Cannon, which is, yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see. Either way, I'm not going to back the Chicago White Sox here, Spoons. I moved on them a couple times early on in the season when the line just seemed a little bit fishy when they were at home on a short number. I'm not going to move on him here. Nothing here for me on this game. Undecided on a pitcher. I mean, I don't know who's going to go out there yet for the Chicago White Sox. Is Taylor pitching first and then Cannon? So is Taylor maybe going to be the opener tomorrow? Probably have to look a little bit more into that. I'm not going to be on this game. Spoons, do you have anything in Chicago White Sox and Kansas City Royals?
I am just double checking that to see if I can find any more information out of before I say anything, because last I saw. So I think that's the case. Cannon will be the primary, just like you just said. I think that sets up better for the Chicago White Sox. Generally, when you put the primary out there, you're matching up just better splits platoon-wise for your pitchers. So that puts out Cannon in a spot where he can go out there and have a better spot, not have to face Bobby Witt, hopefully Salvador Perez one less time when they work through the order. I'm a big Noah Cameron fan. I guess I lean to this under mostly. Kauffman, obviously, they brought the walls in all around this park, and temperatures are starting to warm up there in Kansas City. It was in the 70s today, low 70s tomorrow, high 60s. So a little less hitter friendly, but plus 4% runs overall, plus 19% home runs. This outfield got a lot smaller with the way they moved the fences. So doubles and triples are down, but I see a little bit of value with the White Sox at this number. I think I would make this Kansas City minus like 160. I had trouble trying to make a real number with the pitching situation, but I think this definitely helps the White Sox, if anything, and the under. I'm not sold on this Kansas City offense. Like, yeah, Bobby Witt's a great bat. Salvador Perez, good hitting catcher, but Pasquantino, Garcia, Jonathan India, Caglione, there's so many just at-bats that you watch and you're like, what is this product?
If Vinny isn't playing for Team Italy, he's just a normal guy out there, Spoons.
We get this man an espresso machine.
Yeah, no, literally. He hit 3 home runs in a WCB. You know what I mean?
That would have been the first thing I did if I was the Royals organization, was immediately install an espresso machine into that home dugout.
That's classic, man. I'm gonna stay off this game here. But I agree with you. I don't like this. I haven't liked this Rose offense for the past 2 or 3 seasons that they have thrown this lineup out there. It seems like around Bobby Witt Jr. Outside of that, I don't trust any of these other guys. We can move on here to the next game here, though.
Quick on that total, like we're seeing a 9.5 there. This park, they moved those fences a lot, and I don't think we saw a ton of 9.5s at this time in the season last year. Like once the weather warmed up some, we saw some of those bigger totals, but it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on how they price that park moving forward. I feel like there will be value on one side or the other.
Yeah, let's talk this game here. Spoons, Washington Nationals against the Milwaukee Brewers. We got Zach Littell coming over here, signing in free agency, I believe. Or did he come over last year? I don't remember. But against Brandon Woodruff, really good pitcher out there. Washington Nationals, they had a little bit of hope there the first week of the season. They're playing some inspirational baseball. They've really got 2 bats out there, and that's James Wood and C.J. Abrams. And I'm not sure if C.J. Abrams, is he still hitting 6th in this order? Yeah, he is. It's kind of crazy. I mean, he's the best bat in this order, and they have him hitting in the middle of the order. Maybe he's adjusting, hitting better. I know he's a younger player, and they probably want to – I don't really know what it is, because James Wood is also a very young player, and he's not very disciplined either. So I'm not sure. With that being said, it's James Wood, C.J. Abrams. I guess you can say Garcia out there as well. Outside of that, this Nationals team isn't going to do anything this year. This team isn't going to win 70 games. I don't like this Nationals team. I'm not going to back them here. I'm not going to back the Brewers here at the same time either, because it's too expensive. And honestly, Spoons, so far this season, when I've been taking these -1 and -1.5 run lines, my ROI is not doing well. I'm just considering just dropping the -1, -1.5, just staying away from the game entirely. And not paying that high of a price like you would here with the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm going to stay off this game, Spoons. Nothing here for me in this game. Take it away here. Zach Littell against Brendan Woodruff. Do you have anything in this game?
Again, I lean to the dog. Like I feel like some of these big favorites are just priced too high. I'd make this fair price closer to -160 than -190, which is where this number is starting to go. Littell, in my mind, is just on the same level as Brendan Woodruff. It's not that far removed from me thinking Woodruff was closer to an ace status than kind of a 3 or a 4, but I think that's where he's kind of moving towards, and that's where Littell is. We obviously look at these teams and we just think Milwaukee being the much better team, but Washington's lineup's done really well versus right-handers so far. WRC plus 109 overall. Not quite as good as where Milwaukee is versus righties, but I think their lineup can get a few runs off him. I'm not sold on Washington's bullpen in the slightest, so I think Milwaukee can get some runs off there too. I lean the over in this matchup. This park plays sort of pitcher friendly. It's modeled -5% runs. Obviously, there's a roof there in Milwaukee, so not a huge change in that. But I lean an over with the runs, with the amount of pitchers, with the amount of runs I think we can get off these starters in the bullpens tomorrow. Nothing real concrete in this game for me.
All right, that's going to be a lean to the over here for our guys, Spoons. I'm off this game entirely. We can move on to the next game here. Boston Red Sox against the St. Louis Cardinals. What is this, 1-1 here going into game 3 of this series? Cardinals, I like the kind of baseball they've been playing to open up the season. Going into the season, I remember sitting there talking to you in San Antonio saying, like, wow, this might be one of the worst lineups in baseball, along with the Minnesota Twins. But here I am taking them here early on in the season in some of these spots. Do I want to take them here against the Boston Red Sox? I don't really know if I want to take Palante against Brian Bayo. The Red Sox starting off extremely slow this season, 5-9 to start the season. I don't know. I would only be on the Cardinals here. It's Cardinals or pass for me here, Spoons. I was on the under in this game earlier, and I believe I think the Red Sox scored like 6 runs in the 9th inning, or 4 or 5 runs, something like that. Not cash my under. Still pissed off about that, honestly. I'm not going to back the Cardinals here. This is going to be a pass here for me, Spoons. Let's see here. Take it away, my guy. Boston Red Sox, St. Louis Cardinals.
This is a tough matchup for me. This is a Boston lineup I think Palante can pitch pretty well against, and I look across the mound to Brian Bayo, and I think this is a St. Louis lineup he can pitch pretty well against. Busch Stadium modeled at -4% runs overall tomorrow. Temperatures in the 70s, wind blowing out a little bit. I kind of like the under here in this matchup. This number seems a little bit big for these two lineups. I don't see how they get this many runs across. I think the books don't respect either of these pitchers a lot, and I can understand why, kind of looking at their body of work. But, I mean, baseball is a long season. These guys are in the majors for a reason. I think this sets up well for both of them to go out there, pitch well. I lean to the under. Bullpen situations, I'm not super concrete on for Boston and St. Louis, so I don't have anything to touch on there. But I'd also just kind of lean the dog here in the matchup. I'd make this basically a coin flip between the two of these teams, like plus 100 each way. So whatever team you're getting more plus money with, than the home team being St. Louis, if I was forced to go on that side, I would definitely take St. Louis.
I'm honestly right there with you, Spoons. I have it written down. I also have the under 8.5 written down after what you said. Kind of made me want to take the under as well. I think more so the Cardinals, Spoons. I think I can get a plus 110 still available here with the Cardinals. So I'm thinking about moving on it, Spoons. I'm going to put question marks next to it. I'm not going to move on it quite yet. Any closing thoughts on this?
Just moving backwards, I was price checking the total in that last game. I can still get a 113 on the over 7.5. I'm going to take that in Milwaukee versus Washington. The over 7.5 minus 113. We'll do a review of all the action at the end, but just for transparency.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, we can move on here. Spoons just moved on that, but we'll touch on all the action at the end of the show. We're going to move on to our guys, Spoons Bets team here, the Chicago Cubs against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Bubba Chandler here on the mound for the Pittsburgh Pirates against Jameson Taillon for the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field here. Pirates playing some inspirational baseball here to start the season. Shout out to O'Neal Cruz. He's absolutely tearing the cover off the ball. His defense is a lot of question marks around that, but this Pittsburgh Pirates team isn't bad. I actually kind of like this team the more I've been watching this team play to start the season. They actually went out and grabbed a couple bats here in the offseason. I like that they grabbed Ryan O'Hearn. I like that they grabbed Ozuna, give him around Reynolds, Lowe, and O'Neal Cruz. Obviously, Cruz, like I said, his defense is absolutely awful, but that guy can go out there and hit it 115 off the bat any given point. Chicago Cubs here. What are they? 6-8 here to start this season here. I like Jameson Taillon here. I don't want to move on the Cubs here at this price. Again, guys, sorry. This is another game that I'm not going to be moving on here. Kind of leaning towards the Pirates here, though, if I'm going to be completely honest here, Spoons. Let's pull up and see what the lines are available here. We are pretty much seeing the Cubs minus 130. That's what they are at circa right now. I kind of want to move on the Pirates here as the small underdog, Spoons. What do you have to say about this game, Chicago Cubs, Pittsburgh Pirates?
Well, this is Chicago, and wind is really prevalent here. I look at this park more than most and look at the wind. This is the highest modeled park on Ballpark Pal tomorrow. The home runs are at plus 55% and the runs are at plus 35%. I see winds up to 20 mile an hour blowing straight out, temperatures in the mid 70s. Be one of the first really hitter friendly days at Wrigley, and the total reflects it. The numbers I saw opening in this game were huge. We've seen totals as low as 6 in this ballpark. I think the first number I glanced at was 11.5, and it's now all 12.5s everywhere. So I think this is going to be very offensive friendly weather. And I look at these two pitchers, and Bubba Chandler, high prospect coming up. He's got some really great stuff. But if we look about what comes off of his bat, the launch angle coming off of his stuff is a lot higher than what we see with Jameson Taillon. I think that could be an issue tomorrow with the super windy weather. This is a tough game for me. I like the Chicago Cubs. I'm looking at the Pirates bullpen. It does look like it's in a bad situation. Seems like a little bit of a short number. I see minus 126 as the best number I can get right now, and some sharp books are all the way up to 136. So I'm tempted to move on the Cubs. It really all just comes down to Taillon because, ceiling wise, I feel like Chandler has the better game in him, but floor wise, Chandler could be out of there in the first inning. It wouldn't shock me at all. A young pitcher coming into a field like Wrigley for the first time, seeing this, this could be difficult. He hasn't seen this kind of weather. Also, it's only mid 70s. The ball flies a lot higher when it's in the 80s and 90s, and you have this same wind here in a month or so. So maybe the models are making a little bit too much of the wind at this point, and the runs could have a little bit of value on this under. But I lean Chicago here. I'm tempted to move on it now. That 126 could wind up on my card before the end of the show. I'm going to keep looking at a few things as we move on.
Yeah, that's an extremely high total here, Spoons. That's.
What do you think of the Pirates? The Pirates lineup there, they've made some really good improvements. Stack them up with the Cubs. Do you think it's a wash? Do you think the Cubs have a small advantage?
Are we talking about lineups alone?
Yeah, just take pitchers out of it. No Taillon, no Chandler, just the lineups versus a pitching machine.
I like the Cubs lineup over the Pirates lineup for sure. With that being said here, we can move on here to our next game here. Colorado Rockies, San Diego Padres here. Wow, that was an electric game the other day when Xander Bogaerts, they walked two guys right in front of him to load the bases to get the right matchup, and he just hits an absolute dinger. What a crazy night it was. I was on the team total over 4.5 for the Padres. Couldn't believe I actually ended up hitting that. I was on the Padres in that spot as well. That was actually
8.5 in that game.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
Lost it on the last swing of the bat.
There's a lot of games where I should win and I lose. There's not a lot of games that I win and I should lose, and that was one of them, Spoons. But shout out to Xander Bogaerts, a blast from the past, I should say. But yeah, with that being said here, Rockies starting off playing some decent baseball. I think more so backing them at home, them on the road here. This is going to be the Padres. Petco Park is going to be an electric vibe. It's been electric the last couple of days here. Everyone from the city goes to these games. They go nuts. It's one of the better atmospheres in all of baseball. Only been once, and it was a long time ago, and it's only a 2.5 hour drive. I don't know why I don't go down there more often. I know me and Moose have got to watch a game down there one of these days, but I want to be on the Padres here. I think they're going to absolutely smash. I think this line is very telling here at minus 225. I'm not going to move on this spot, though, Spoons. My lean here would be the Padres. It would be on the run line, but again, like I told you, my ROI hasn't been good on the run line in -1s this year with these bigger favorites, so I think I'm just going to let these bigger favorites go. I don't need to move on this game. Nothing for me on this, Spoons. Breakdown Rockies. I forgot to even mention the pitching matchup here in this. Let's pull this up here. We've got Kyle Freeland against Nick Pivetta. It's probably important to mention that as well. Spoons, take over, my guy.
I mean, this is a tough matchup. The Padres haven't exactly been killing left-handed pitching so far, towards the bottom of the league in WRC plus so far. And Kyle Freeland, I mean, not terrible numbers. I look across Pivetta, I have as being the better pitcher, but this is a really pitcher-friendly park. The bullpens obviously have taken a lot of abuse over the last few days. So it's probably going to be what keeps me off the under, but I would lean to the under if I knew that I could get 3 solid pitchers going for San Diego tomorrow. And I mean, Colorado's bullpen looks bad, but sometimes I just wonder how bad those numbers look because of the innings they throw in course. And they're not terrible at all. So I lean this under. There's nothing you can do with -225. You said it. Like it's hard to have a profitable ROI with those -1.5s. We looked into it last year, did some research just on last year's season, and it was not profitable to be playing those big money line, like 175 through 250 favorites on the -1.5. It was more profitable to do the money lines than the run lines. And like, think about I'm going to pay 225 to back the Padres bats right now. It's like, I don't want to do that. No way.
Yeah. Absolutely wild. And let's move on here to our next game, Spoons. We don't have a line on this one, unfortunately, because this game is still going on here. Is that going to change here for me?
Yeah. Or what's next?
Houston Astros against the Seattle Mariners. I don't know why I won't select here the graphic. Jose, if you can help me out, my guy. I'm not sure why it's not doing that, but Houston Astros, Seattle Mariners here. Do we have a pitching? Yeah, we've got Bolton against Gilbert here. As far as the game going right now, Seattle got up to an early lead. Kyle Raleigh hit a 2-run bomb, 4 runs immediately scored by Houston. I believe they actually have scored 5 now. So looking like Houston's running away with this game. Spoons, Mariners, a team I don't like. I do think that they made some improvement. I mean, this is the best offense that the Mariners have ever had coming into this season. If you look at their batting order, they've never had this talented of a batting order with the pitching rotation that they have. They better win 90 games. They better win 95, and they better make a deep run in the playoffs with this pitching staff and all the moves that they've made. But they have done a really good job on spending. Shout out to them for that. That's how you run a good organization, spending, and they've been smart about it. So shout out to them for that. But I'm off this game here for the Astros Mariners. It is looking like Jose has it here that the Mariners are going to be a -163 and the Houston Astros will be a +135. Spoons, take over. Shout out to our guy Gorky, $2 donation there. Appreciate you, my guy.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I don't have it available in any of my books, but I do see an offshore with a 165 for the Mariners. So I would expect it to open in that 150 to 170 range for them. Definitely have the pitching advantage. I kind of struggle with this game, seeing it right off the bat like this. I'm not positive on Houston's pitcher, but I do expect Logan Gilbert to be out there. With this game going on, it's hard to make much of a call, but I would just say Houston shouldn't be this big of a dog to Seattle unless it's just a straight bullpen game where they're not throwing any decent arm out there for 3 to 5 innings. But lean Houston.
Lean Houston. Sorry, I'm texting Jose and telling him the graphics won't change. Maybe he can help us out with that. But our next game on the list here is going to be the Texas Rangers and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And am I reading this line correctly here? The Dodgers this small of a favorite here.
Smallest line of the season for them.
This is insane here. Hold on, Spoons. What are we looking at here? Sasaki against DeGrom. You know, it is DeGrom, so he's always going to get respected. This line looking like it opened up at a minus 133, and some of the books have already moved this down to a minus 118. Circa has this at a minus 127, and that's what they opened it up at. From what I'm looking at, obviously we don't have a market in this game as far as betting percentage and splits and all that stuff because it's the night before. But I want to be on the Texas Rangers, and I'm going to be on the Texas Rangers here, Spoons. Best number available I can get here. I will let you know. I'm going to shop. I can get a plus 105 here with the Texas Rangers. So I'm going to move on it. Texas Rangers plus 105. I like it. I'm going to back DeGrom here. Spoons. All right, I'm going to listen to your breakdown on this first, obviously.
I think you'll see a better number than that. I see 3 books available to me that have 107 or better, and 2 that have 110, and then 2 offshores that are pretty prevalent that have 110 or 111. So I think you get pretty decent prices on dogs from what I've seen. So I think I might hang off on that for a minute. I see Dodgers ranging from 120 to 130 on the books available to me. And at 120, it's tempting for me on the Dodgers. Like, I still make this fair price, Dodgers minus 125. So just a small edge there, but Sasaki's the big question here. This guy has not been very trustworthy at all. And you look across the mound of DeGrom, and one of the most trustworthy guys in all of baseball. As long as he's healthy, you know, he's going to go out there and give you a really good outing. But not in love with Texas's bullpen. Their lineup's been decent versus right-handers so far, above average versus righties, 109 WRC plus, but righties for the Dodgers 145. I mean, they're the best lineup in baseball. It's not really a debate in my opinion. I think they'll be able to get a run or 2 off DeGrom, and I don't think DeGrom's going to go out there and shove for 7 innings. It's probably going to be a 5-inning outing, and after that, I think the Dodgers bats go to town. So
yeah,
I lean Dodgers here. I think ideal scenario for me is I stay off this game. I'm watching baseball tomorrow. I see Sasaki give up a 2-run shot to Corey Seager, and I move on the Dodgers live at a big plus money, and I get to sweat it out at a much better price. At 120, I just lean Dodgers. Don't think a ton of value. On the Texas side, I think I'd have to come all the way to like 130 or so to have it. Like, the lineup disadvantage is real for me, and the bullpen is real for me too. I think there's sometimes too much weight put on just the starters alone. Like we talked about earlier, like DeGrom is a big part of this franchise. Anything funny happens, there's going to be a real short leash with him early in the season. So you throw the baseball a lot in the course of a game, one thing goes out, and then as soon as he comes in, what does that line move to? It's no longer around a pick 'em. It's right back to Dodgers where they've been priced all season long at minus 160.
Yeah, and sorry guys, the graphics are a little off right now. Jose is fixing them, and I know we have at least one game left, and it's going to be the Sunday night baseball game, obviously. Cleveland Guardians against the Atlanta Braves here. Tanner Bybee on the mound for Cleveland Guardians, going against Chris Sale from the Braves. Chris Sale, you know, his first 2 starts, Spoons, lights out. You know, he had a rough start at the Big A. It just seemed like kind of a rough spot for him. It seemed like he was shook a little bit early on when things didn't go his right way. He's an older guy out there. I think he's going to bounce back in an extraordinary way here against the Cleveland Guardians, an offense that, you know, I don't trust them by any means. I was on the Guardians today, cashed them on the money line, but I'm not going to back them here. I think this line is very telling that Sale is a minus 185 right now. I want to be on the Braves. Like I mentioned, I don't want to back them on the money line. I might have to. Back them on the money line here. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I don't want to move on the -1 or -1.5. We'll see. This is a game where we'll see. I've made 3 plays here official so far. This might be the 4th one. Cardinals might be another one as well. But as of right now, I'm off this game, guys. I want to be on the Braves. I endorse the Braves. If you're on the Braves, I can definitely see why this line is telling. I think it's telling that Chris Sale is going to go out there and pitch lights out baseball. Spoons, take it away. Sunday night baseball, last game on the card.
Yeah, was on the Guardians today. I kind of went through these lineups and I asked myself, how much better was Atlanta's lineup really? And on paper at the beginning of the season, I think it would have graded it out a lot higher. But as the season goes on and like DeLauder shows more and some of these bats, I'm growing a little bit of faith in Cleveland's lineup. I'd make these lineups a lot closer to each other than I would have a month ago. WRC plus versus righties, they're both above average on the season so far. Atlanta slightly more than Cleveland. Bibby's a very good pitcher in his own right. I think Cleveland can get a couple runs off Sale, but I don't think he's going to go out there and have a masterful performance, but he's definitely not going to get blown up, and maybe Bibby does. I don't know that. Bullpen situation-wise, Cleveland had to use some arms tonight. They got some runs real late, so it's not set up in a perfect way for them. I do lean Atlanta, but I mean that price is just too much for me. Like, we're approaching 200 on some books. I see best price on any of the books I follow is 183. I'd make this line closer to 160. Maybe Cleveland's bullpen situation is worse than what I'm letting on, and that has something to do with it. Minus 9% runs modeled tomorrow, so Sale should be able to pitch well. I think Bobby will too. No real lean in me for this one. I just think the price is too big with Atlanta, but they probably win this baseball game.
All right, Spoons, and that is the card. Let's go over our bets, but first, let me give a quick shout out to everyone in the chat that's been here with us. Sports scientist Jacob, good to see you, my guy. Shout out to the Godfather, as always. Coin, Jimmy the Bag here. We've got, AM. We've got Jim, Dougie Weiser. We've got the Goracle, Coin, Jerry Davis, Dabby Cap. Good to see you. Jim Main, Swig Bets, Kyle Kerm. Shout out to you guys, man. I'm going to go over my action here really quick that I've made official here. I've made 2 plays official. The Angels is going to be made official as soon as I can get a better line. Twins money line plus 100. Rays money line plus 130. It's going to be Angels either money line plus 100 if I can get it available, or it's going to be minus 105 what I can get right now. And then I also have Cards money line plus 110 circled with question marks next to it. Braves as well. I just don't know how I'm going to move on the Braves quite yet, Spoons. But I am locked in on 2 plays, and it will be 3. Might be 4, might be 5. We'll see. Spoons, take it away, my guy. It was a great show. Review your action, please.
Yeah, I got 4 plays locked in for tomorrow as of right now. The over 7.5 in the Nationals versus Brewers game, locked in at minus 112. The Yankees money line at minus 143. Shop around. You can get 140 right now, I believe. Angels money line, I took the minus 104. I don't think I'm going to get a plus 100 available to me. I could be wrong, but I don't want to miss this. Like I said, I make them bigger favorites than this, and I think Soriano's set up to have a real nice game there tomorrow. And I took the Phillies money line at minus 140. Really like the bullpen situation in that game, and I think we just have a pitcher that's a little undervalued early in his career. That's my 4 plays tomorrow. As always, if you want to keep up with my bets, you can follow me on Juice Royal for free. Just shoot me a message. I'll send you a friend link. It updates as soon as I make the bets. So the night before, I don't post my X card till noon or whatever. It'll show up at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon if I make the bet at that point, which happens a lot for baseball. I try to get ahead of it. Really excited for the season we're about to have. This is going to be a lot of Sundays together, sweating out some games. So should be fun. I'm excited doing this the night before. I think it gives us a different way to attack the games. We'll get to talk more about this tomorrow, but definitely follow Wine Time on X. Keep up with his plays tomorrow. Like he said, he's probably going to wind up with at least 5 plays tomorrow. It's hard locking in everything. Right now, we're 14 hours before any games are going to be played, so there's so much more information that comes out. Half these bullpens aren't even kind of locked in as far as who's finished pitching yet, so it'll be interesting. Great show today, One Time. Thank you for breaking everything down with me.
Let's go, everyone. Shout out to you guys for joining us. Make sure to tune in every single Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to you guys. We love you guys. Hub Sports Radio, we're out of here.
It's easier to sleep in the black. When you're losing your ass and feeling so, you know what to do. Tune in to Pub Sports Radio. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's a roller coaster ride, you're gonna catch a bad beat. No problem, keep your head up and just bet the spreadsheet. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. All thanks to Jeff Slaughter, these shows have our backs. POD's always rolling, especially the stats. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. We got Jimmy, Jose, Dabby and the fam, Dutch wine time, Spooner and OG Wham. So hit the like button, don't say that you can't. If you know what's best, just put your money on tape.